witnessing a clean sweep. So it's going to be up to Ocean Black to see if they can defy expectations and take a game to bring it to a full series against their MAL rivals.
All right, let's jump straight into this. DXS going to be on blue side up against Ocean Black, OB on the red side. And as expected, this mid lane not going in favor of Rasi and Storm, especially at level 1, which is the highest chance of which they can actually get punished here. I would like to see emblems to see whether Storm opted to go, oh, he went Wilderness Blessing. He did not want to help out Keeman too often and was more than happy to just give him some traps. Didn't need the extra damage on the creeps.
If anything, Ocean Black just forced out the flicker from Rasi early on. He did take the first ability, so can't really get away from Div. But DXS, they do have that ability. If someone gets hit by an arrow, it's almost a guaranteed kill. They're gonna try and punish Div. That's his flicker traded out. Value for DXS.
So far, battle spells being traded back and forth at this point in time, but I'm more curious about how the gold lane is actually going, because that's the pathing of both the junglers, right? First engagement's looking to happen on the bottom side of the map, and Rasi not really having to open up, knowing that SkyZ has already cleared up and maintaining control of that river area in case they show.
Yeah.
I do like the positioning that Rasi and Storm are playing around now, though. They know that they don't really have mid and roam priority, so it's better to play around the bushes to provide vision to the rest of the team. Ooh, risky poke.
Move movements and Super Susu. The bit trap Keeman will just drop the ultimate, so they can't pull him back with the Lantern Flare. But my eyes are on Super Susu to hopefully get a couple of pickoffs as the game progresses, because just like game 1, there's no flicker on the core members of DXS.
Yeah, this is a very different type of hero from the one he was playing in game 1. Previously, Hylos just kind of stands there, becomes the sandbag and front line for team. Joe is definitely a little bit more mechanically required, you know? So he needs to be able to prove himself that he's capable to get these catches, especially on very important core members of DXO.
Siska to bring him down low, but he does have the split. That backline is going to get threatened. Div has no flicker this time. He's waiting to hit level 4, and he's getting pretty close to it, but Keeman will not get him. Div somehow gets away. Jun will get the turtle, and unfortunately, Keeman will be pulled back. Siska, now isolated from his team, will try to hold the line as fast as possible. Backline, they will lose Super Susu. Siska still trying to find a kill, but cannot get it.
Okay. Oh,
that was close.
These arrows are getting so close. I mean, I gotta give it to Storm. His accuracy on the arrows have been looking really, really good. But the way these fights are panning out, I mean, I feel like both teams really are adamant on not giving up that initial lead. You can see the hesitation from both sides where it's like, I don't want to make a mistake, and neither do you, but we have to force it out of each other.
Yeah, I'm still seeing a little bit of those growing pains from coming out of MAL, where their gameplay is a little bit too direct, a bit too honest, right? They just want to take these fights and win the game through that. In the previous engagement, it was pretty solid. Oh!
By the kick, there's an AOG. As a follow-up, Rasi will be taunted up and taken down. Keeman is looking for an opening, but can't find it.
Good stuff, good stuff. Based on what we're seeing, DXL, especially with the help of their veterans in the roamer position, they're trying to make these calls, trying to look for these punishes. And even if Ocean Black, they find more of these types of picks, with the help of Ripple to follow it up, they can get these kill confirms a lot easier now.
The Way of Dragon into the AoEG combo is basically unavoidable. That is so much CC that Ocean Black is guaranteed a kill in any circumstance, especially if the Zeus In is nearby as well. So DXO has to be a little bit more concerned about not being too far forward by themselves. That kind of comes into the rotation priority as well, which means that they're generally going to be playing on the slower side, which is perfectly fine because they do have this Joy and Granger to scale into the late game. So trying not to overcommit will be crucial here.
Yeah, I think they have to go low committal. They have to just play off the arrows coming in from Storm. Oh, here we go. That hit Rippo, and now Ocean Black are defaulting into the traditional 4-and-1 to play around these turtles.
Seems like they're not gonna contest for now, as Keeman is taking away the purple buff in the enemy jungle. So Turtle will go over to Ocean Black. DSO just fainting, but they still go for the engage somehow. Not really the best one you're looking for. A good arrow to stagger Super Susu, who still finds a tick off. Rasi will get away with the dash. Diff is now out of position. This guy gets stunned up by the Blazers, goes into the split, and a re-engage from DXO. Super Susu wants to get away, but his turret will take him down instead. Siska fails the flicker, ends up getting traded.
A little too far there, but the very least, it's a one-for-one trade. And honestly, they don't lose too much for this. Maybe it's still a turtle for Ocean Black, but we're coming back to the same position as we did in game number 1. They get that early lead, but we don't see that big transition where they look to double or maybe even triple it.
Yeah, that is what Ocean Black is going to really be tested on, right? Whether they can have that flexibility to adjust things depending on how the game goes, and whether they have the drive and initiative to be able to continue ballooning any sort of lead that they have. And DXO, their goal is just to try and avoid giving it over to them.
Yeah, pretty honest concealed play from Super Susu. Couldn't find Keeman. All things considered, it's a pretty low committal game. You know, 1.2k goal advantage for Ocean Black. 6 minutes in, the next turtle up in under a minute. Obviously, both goal laners are having the time of their lives right now, just farming up, clearing waves. And Ocean Black have been trying to make plays happen, but kind of feels like game 1 where DXO is the one that is taking initiative.
It could be that that both teams are a little nervous to make these mistakes, right? Especially since that we already know that DXL is at match point. And I think that that's why Ocean Black really just taking the time to clear out these bushes one by one. But playing like very template. Well, oh, risky for Masako to stick his nose out that far.
Yeah, I don't feel like they needed to do that, actually. They could have like stayed in lane a little bit longer without revealing themselves to maybe get a better ambush through the rotation, since they know they're gonna go and respond to the wave. But for now, no real harm done. Ocean Black still having the slight goal advantage, but next turtle is up.
Rusty can't build a wall for the next few seconds, but DXO surely has the confidence to start walking up with the smooth movements. Turtle down to left and half, an arrow onto Ripple. Got a couple of snipes from the Death Sonata onto Masako in the backline too. There's going to be plenty of artillery from DXO, and Ocean Black needs to find a way to stop that. A ton into an AOG follow-up. Ripple zones out Stolen from the rest of his team, but Keeman now finds an exposed backline. Chases Masako away, looks to retreat, gets kicked by Super Susu, and that's the punish that Ocean Black has been looking for. Keeman goes down, Ripple disengages, and Siska once more isolated and abandoned. 2 for Ocean Black.
We talked about this. We talked about how DXO needs to avoid overcommitting, and in that case, while it looked like they were doing a good job of starting the fight, I don't think it was in a good enough position for them to decide, hey, we're going to dive the backline right now, because Ocean Black still were very healthy overall, still had a lot of their resources, and they just punished them for it.
Yeah, again, I think that DXO needs to have a little bit more foresight on these types of angles. They really depend on Storm to land the arrow on a critical target. And I think right now the critical target is probably Diff and as well as Masako. Maybe even Jun, but I would say that Jun is a hard target to hit. Only during the neutral objectives are we expecting that to be, you know, jolted up in priority.
I agree with you. Right now, we are 8 minutes in. Ocean Black has been able to build up a 3k goal lead. All things considered, it's still not actually that large of an advantage against a Granger composition. But Zed has definitely been having some trouble finding space on the map to farm safely, since he's going to quite consistently need an escort.
Not to mention that Super Susu has been able to find some crucial kick, at least in the previous fight. This show can be a big deterrent for any sort of dive that DXO wants to kind of initiate. As much as they have the tools to take down Ocean Black, a lot of it starts with getting an engage, getting an Abyssal Arrow off, or a snap engage from Rasi, which we are still waiting for. All these pokes are not going to mean too much to Ocean Black as the game progresses.
Yeah, this is going to be a slow burner. Not going to get too much. Even Siska, like, trying to scale up isn't going to mean much unless he's able to get on top of some priority targets. The way that it seems, both sides have gone into, like, you know, this passive style of play. Let's look at the goal to see how much of a lead we have here. For Masako, actually a pretty substantial lead, right? Until we see that third as well as fourth item start rolling into his build, I think that's when they're going to be looking for the big fights, because right now they just lack damage. And Suyo, yes, he can do a bit of work, but he's going to need, like everybody else, to start stacking up fast.
Even for Storm, he is pretty far behind in net worth, and 2 levels behind Diff at one point. Basically relegated to the support role that did play for a while.
Yeah, Selena, unfortunately, can be pretty conditional as a mid laner. If you keep hitting those Abyssal Arrows, it can be one of the best heroes in the game, but if you don't, then you really don't contribute too much to team composition. And in this case, the arrows are going to be even harder to connect with, since Super Susu is just going to be walking around with the potential Shunpo avoid. So DXS is going to have a very hard time trying to find these openings.
Yeah, I mean, the lack of money coming out from Storm means that even if he does get a full combination after landing the Abyssal Arrow, it's not going to matter, right? Like, look at Rippo. He's already gotten hit by a couple of arrows, doesn't really feel it. Regenerates like the majority of his health anyways.
I feel like Rossi has to be the one to start the engage, get a snap engage in. Flicker, build a wall, go for the fist crack, and then DXS just piled on it. That one of the few ways to catch Ocean Black off guard, because they're getting pretty comfortable just walking up like this to DXS. And DXS, they don't really have the best way to take up space, especially when Ocean Black gets through the zone. And that's the snap engage that I've been wanting to see. Jun getting forced away, Kimin onto him as the fight splits into two. Kick from Super Susu, they lose Rossi, they lose SkyZ, and this fight is done. Kimin couldn't get the job done, so Masako will get his done. 3 for Ocean Black.
Ooh, the desperation got a little bit too much for them. I like the initiation, and Diff is definitely a good target, but you have to remember there's a lot of ways for this Zeus to just be able to jump out of that trap, and then after that the follow-up from Rippo, and then the beautiful catch in the back line by Super Susu, actually landing the kick on the Granger. Just stack them all up for Masako. This Irritel is now officially a problem, and Ocean Black is playing super well around it.
Yep. They knew they had the right ideas, and I think at this point, with the Lord on their side, Ocean Black will be able to get all the tier 2s across the board. Not to mention, they had already had a pushing wave on that top side, so really, Ocean Black could have just sat there and waited all day and still would have won the overall scenario.
Things are looking pretty rough now for DXS. For a moment, it still looked like as long as they were able to start taking some good engagements, they'd still be able to scale their way back in. But we're 12 minutes in, and they haven't been able to regain any sort of gold advantage. And I don't think SkyZ has been able to keep up in terms of farm compared to Masako. So DXS is lacking poke, lacking CC, lacking overall presence on the map.
They've reached a point where they have more than enough fuel to deal with the glue. Not only that, both Storm and SkyZ are getting threatened by Ripple just being the body blocker. Diff will not survive. They want to snipe from SkyZ, alleviate the pressure a little bit. They dealt with the Lord top side thanks to Kimin. The Ocean Black has, I should say, got the Lord. DXS was able to find a Science of Life.
Yeah, but still a 5.6k lead for Ocean Black, which means that they're going to reach that 4-item power spike that Masako has been building up this entire time and waiting for the right moment to actually unleash it on DX. Because right now, the only problem is whether Storm lands an arrow or not onto Diff. And if he doesn't find any targets, that's fine. That's one player out of the way for Ocean Black to deal with. And I think even for SkyZ, right, he did opt to build for that Sky Piercer, but with only a single kill and a single assist, it's not like the stacks are very high either.
Yeah, it's very little stacks considering the stage of the game we're in right now. It's actually been quite a low kill score so far, only 3 kills to 8. As both teams have been playing very safe, very wary of each other. You can tell that they're taking a step back compared to the performance in game number 1 to readjust themselves. Ocean Black right now still coming out on top, and they definitely have a better scaling curve currently since Masako going to be hitting that 4th item already, actually, so Irritel definitely online.
Yep, he is strong, and when we're looking at the other side, it's not like it's going to matter too much. I don't see enough armor. The only difference is Siska having that anti-cuirass, but even then, everybody else just doesn't have that much armor, with the exception of Rossi, but we can't see how many stacks he has on that Thunderbelt anyways.
God, I miss MAL.
I mean, it's happening right now.
It's going to be a slow burner for sure. Next Lord coming up, 10 seconds top side. And just in time for DXS to make to have a pushing wave down bot, so they will have a chance to get priority in that Lord pit. But still, the problem remains the same, right? The Keyman can get into the backline, but not able to find the kills that he needs. They've done the snap engage, that wasn't enough. Diff now has the Blood Wings, which he just picked up. And Ocean Black, they can just walk up and start taking control.
The thing is, Keyman definitely has enough burst to actually threaten Masako in the backline, but this Joy has to wait until every resource has been expended before he can actually dive back. Ooh, nice dodge there. That's no flicker on the Cho, actually.
Right, confidence to walk back up. They did get an arrow on a Super Susu. Maybe try to chunk him up a little bit. Keyman looking for a bouncing pad. Doesn't find the right angle just yet. So back to square one is where we're at. Bottom wave is essentially neutralized. For the mid-side, Rossi in Kira's position was able to again fall back. It's a tango at this Lord pit. It's going to take a while.
Oh, They play it nice and slow, really taking the space one step at a time. You can see that the procedures are being ingrained into both DXS and as well as Ocean Black. Clear the Lord positions, look for a dominant area of the map, and also keep an eye on the side waves every once in a while, because if they can't rush it down, which honestly, I think that Ocean Black can't rush it down with the only two big bursters coming in from Jun as well as Masako, I think the rest of DX Seoul, they can just wait, take their sweet time. They're about to hit the 42k mark themselves.
Yeah, you can dance this forever. Ocean Black, they don't want to wait, and that's navigation again on the dip. They try to burst him down, dip. Crimson Beacon to get away. Keeming on to Masako, and Masako again saved by Super Susu. But this time, DXS came prepared, able to get Ripple's immortality out, but no Sky Piercer execution. So close yet so far.
You want to see, man. Masako has been waiting for that time, and he doesn't mind getting low because he knows that he has enough damage to actually put himself back up to 100%. Oh, this is getting dangerous. They shouldn't be crowding around. They saw the initial engagement for Rossi. Don't give him a second one without the flicker.
Reset the Lord. They need to buy another 13 seconds for Keemin to come back. And some change by Ocean Black. They're not going to wait. They will go onto the Lord, and with the help of Rippo, they get a free Lord for themselves.
All right, good zoning from Ocean Black, making sure DXO cannot come close enough to try and contest Jun from taking the Lord, and making sure to do it before Keemin is able to respawn. Still a little messy, but still, DXO unfortunately on the back foot. Their draft not really allowing them to play for a lot of these neutral objective fights, and while Keemin tried very hard to pick up Masako, and got pretty close to it too, Ocean Black still had most of their resources. Like, only 1 or 2 players was being distracted by Rasi at the time.
Yeah, Super Susu has been on point with these kicks to peel Masako's threat away from him 2 times. He's been able to kick Keemin as he was about to run down this Irithel. And this Lord is going to be deadly, guaranteeing at least an inhibitor mid-side. AOG from Rippos, and they only hit onto one. This guy tries to hold the front. Another wall built by Rasi. Super Susu finds the kick from the back and picks up SkyZ. Without the Granger, he's only Keemin left, and he's no more. Double kill for Rippo, and Ocean Black will force a game number 3.
Looks like this rivalry carries onwards from MAL to the MPL stage. As despite their best efforts, DX Seoul are not